If you ask longtime fans of the MCU what they think the current issue with the movies are, they're probably not going to say it's because they're not funny anymore. But apparently, director of the Marvels actually thinks that's the issue at hand. So the Marvels directors think superhero fatigue exists, but aims to stand out with a wacky sequel. Now, for the record, I do think superhero fatigue exists to an extent, but not what they actually say when they mean superhero fatigue, because I think people will absolutely flock to theaters to see a superhero movie if it's something worth seeing. The problem with the current phase of Marvel movies is they basically templated how they make their movies, and they just kind of churn them out several a year, and they're just not very good anymore. You compare that to the early phases of the Marvels, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like with Phase 1 and even Phase 2, where every movie was, they brought in a talented director and writers and actually tried to treat it as if it's an actual movie. But now each movie is more or less just a piece of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and none of them are special. It's just something that you watch in order to get ready for the next movie. And a lot of that also is they just try to insert a bunch of humor where it's not needed in here. But let's continue with the article. So she goes on to say, I think superhero fatigue absolutely exists. The Marvel's director, Nia DaCosta, tells Total Film Magazine, in her new issue. But try telling the Captain Marvel sequel that the Cosmic Caper, which features Brie Larson high-flying team up with Miss Marvel and Photon, aims to stand out from the pack by embracing its silly side. And again, it's not that Marvel movies aren't silly. In fact, that's kind of the opposite. I mean, a lot of people are complaining about the movies getting too silly right now. I mean, and that's comparing to the old MCU movies, because in the current ones, they don't even let any serious moments sit or whatever. They have to always insert some type of joke that seems inappropriate and kills all the tension. And I mean, even Chris Hemsworth pointed out when it comes to Thor Love and Thunder. I mean, I know Taika Waititi has a tendency of doing silly movies or whatever, but he kind of went off the rails when it came to Thor Love and Thunder. With Thor Ragnarok, I mean, I think it kind of worked for a bit. I mean, at least there was a little bit of restraint in there, but when it comes to Thor Love and Thunder, it's like he just had no limits on anything and it just didn't work. And now even Chris Hemsworth is kind of turned off of it as a result of that. But when she's talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think she doesn't watch a ton of the movies in the MCU, because she talks about them in kind of in general, where it's like, well, with the Avengers movies, they're kind of like these big movies where they have like this powerful foe that they have to fight, and it kind of like caps off the whole like phase of the MCU and stuff like that. And I mean, she talks about it in serious, and like, yeah, there is seriousness to it, but there also is moments of levity and some type of humor and things like that too. And that's fine. You can have that, but you don't have to make it a full-blown comedy or go too far with the silliness. Cause like I said, that almost in a way pays disrespect to the source material when you do that. But the funny thing is, this is not how the movie started, because she's saying now it wanted to make it more sillier than other movies, but that's not what happened here. So you go back to this article from August 22nd of 21, because this movie's been in production for quite a while. She aims to explore some heavy themes in her MCU film. So it sounds like from this article from Game Rant that she was actually trying to make a more serious movie, which makes sense considering that her background is more independent horror movies and things like that. So I can see why they would bring her on to try to explore more heavy themes. And it's possible from test screenings and other things that they tried to rework things that, and now they're going towards a more goofy route to it. But then that also goes to show that, like, so this movie started off something serious, and then they're trying to change it because it wasn't received well and trying to make it silly, which means this wasn't designed from the ground up to be a funny movie or a goofy movie. It was designed to be a silly one, and now there's just going to be a bunch of humor stuff thrown in there and or crowbarred into it in some way, shape, or form, which anyone who pays attention to movies go, that's not a good sign when they tried to like basically change the whole tone of the movie in post-production like that, or through reshoots and stuff. I mean, this movie's been delayed, I think 3 times officially, maybe more times unofficially. And now they're finally releasing it. I mean, they're not even trying to do press or anything for it because the actors are on strike. I mean, they just kind of accepted, like, let's just get it out there and just be done with it. And I think Disney is actually expecting this one to flop, and they just kind of accepted that. And they're like, let's just more or less tear off this band-aid right now and just deal with it. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I mean, I'm not expecting it to do good, maybe 500 million globally, which is, it's still a loss, but not a huge loss. It's not going to be as bad as The Flash, or at least I don't think it's going to be that bad. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.